Hi guys, and welcome to another episode of Hurukuro na Shonga. My name is Maita Shonga, aka Maita, aka Shonga. You can call me whichever you prefer. Right, Hurukuro na Shonga in the last episodes was mainly focusing on herbal life, looking at how edible weeds and herbs can help our communities to thrive. My environment has since changed. Then I was based in Harare, Zimbabwe, and the program was being brought to you specifically in vernacular languages so that I could engage with our communities. Now I'm based in Brighton, the UK, where I'm doing a master's in culture and creative industries, and therefore I'm bringing content just as I experience life. So recently a friend of mine sent me a message via Facebook, which I found very interesting and very engaging. But as I was about to respond to her, I decided to respond to her and a wider audience, because I understand that many of us may actually be facing the same problem. And so with her permission, I will share with you the question, and then I will try to respond to it. So here goes. I'm going to be reading this. You have always been a very expressive person, and I admire that about you. Do you feel more free to express yourself and immerse yourself in your Africanness around foreigners than around Zimbabweans at home? I ask because some of the Zimbabweans in my circle are judgy. When I wear out my afro or rock my locks or even a simple duku, they always have something opinionated and often derogatory to say. Or will even claim I am trying too hard. And I'm like, trying too hard to be what? A Black African? Oops, I didn't realize I had to earn the right to express my Africanness. I'm failing to understand this. Have you experienced this? Consequently, unless it's close family and friends, I feel more free to express my Africanness around foreigners. Oh yeah, and there is still this Western formal outfits and suits look more professional nonsense going around. Yeah. So to answer this question, she's just basically asking me, have I experienced a lot of judging when I express myself, either through how I talk, how I dress, and the kind of things that I'm passionate about, because I'm very passionate about things that are very African and things that are based in our indigenous knowledge systems as Africans. And I say Africans because it goes beyond just Zimbabwe. I want to know everything from all over Africa, because I identify as African, and my birthplace, where the umbilical cord was buried, is within this particular land called Zimbabwe. And at some point I worked for one of the biggest corporates, telecoms company in Zimbabwe, and I always tell people it was the only time that I felt like a slave queen. I would put on weaves, I would wear high heels. I remember at some point I had probably 10 or 15 different colored heels. I would wear, beautiful dresses, formal, and you'd regularly change your hairstyle. You'd always have artificial nails and all that. You had to look the part, and it was expected of you. My job was actually a back office job, but even when I didn't have to be face to face with the client, I still had to look the part because I worked for the organization. And it was good. I think it was an experience that I somehow enjoyed. It was something that I'd never experienced. But at some point I realized that I could never actually fall within that category, within that line. And even when I was looking at going back to the organization, because it was an internship and then having to go back later, I had to make the decision of saying, I'm not going to go back. I'm going to go into what I appreciate, and which is art, which is culture. And it was very difficult for family and friends to actually accept my Africanness and the things that I love, because it is often looked upon as if you are going against Christian values if you appreciate your African history and African accessories and, you know, African dress in its essence, and not just Java as we know it today and African attires as we know it today. Because I sometimes masquerade wearing just cloth tied around and different types of beads from all over Africa, and you know, people are like, oh whoa, that's a bit too much. The way that I've managed to handle it is perhaps beyond my own crafting, because I think I really do believe God's supreme connected me with the right people. So within my circle, I have people who believe strongly in indigenous knowledge systems. I have people who are proud to dress and be different. I have people who find glory in their uniqueness. I have people who are artists, who are crafters, people who are able to create things through their experiences. And this is how Africans have always been. And this is how I want to be. Just the other day, we're watching a film on African civilizations. And the archaeologists in the film were actually talking about how we managed to gain knowledge and be able to date things when we find tombstones or when we find burial sites within Africa and date them. It is because of things such as the accessories, the cowrie, or the metal that they had, that they wore, that they created. It is the crafty things, the cultural items that they produced that is able to give us these stories. It is the paintings on the walls, the etchings on the tablets that they created, the messaging, the symbols, the communication that they had, the kind of languaging that they had that allows us to create the story of our history. And I want to tap into that knowledge, and I want to continuously tap into it and be able to contribute to this knowledge going forward. Identity is something that is very important, and even in this Western civilization, Western culture, or this Western place, now that I'm here, I realize that they celebrate a lot of their heritage, a lot of their historical events, historical dress, and so on. They even have masquerades, you know, and we believe that everything that we see on TV is all that there is. TV is a marketing tool. Right? You're supposed to consume something so that you can buy it. It's very commercial, you know. It's unlike going to a museum, for example, or going to a gallery, or viewing art, or going to an orchestra and listening to this beautiful sound. A lot of the things that we find on social media and on these media platforms are really commercial. They're really capitalistic in nature, you know. Someone is controlling it, and when someone is controlling what is being sent out and you just digest it, you just internalize it, they in turn are controlling you. But to be the master of your own self, you need to tap into something deeper, something like your heritage, something like your history, something like the knowledge that comes from, let's say, our grandmothers, our grandfathers, our great ancestors, something that is recorded of the happenings and things that you really experience in real life. A lot of us cannot even distinguish where the TV or where social media ends and where you begin. Where does your life begin? You know, I just want you to think of an influencer right now. Think of any influencer whom you follow, particularly in terms of dress and how you look. Okay? Think of them. Where do their lives begin and where do their lives on the media begin and their lives in reality end? Sometimes, you know, we seem as if we are blinded to this. We have a real life, one that you can contribute in a manner that uplifts you. I am not saying that dressing in a particular way or in a professional way, as she has said, is bad. It can be good. But if you feel the need to dress in something that is unique to you, something that best expresses and describes you, something that when you wear it, you feel like you're tapping into an energy that is untangible, but that allows for growth within your life, then by all means, do so.